It appears that the dense jungles of the world hide strange and wondrous mysteries that are not only difficult to explain, but seem to defy preconceived notions about science, history, and the world itself. So today, here at Unexplained Mysteries, we'll be taking a look at these 3 mysterious jungle discoveries. Azo Basu, the Ape Man of Morocco. The man who became known to many as Azo Basu, or the Ape Man of Dadis, quickly became a tabloid sensation. Azo has since become one of the best-known Ape Man cases in recent history, appearing in travel and adventure magazines. Some tabloids even named him the missing link between the Neanderthals and modern humans. He was found to be living in the valley of Dadis, near the town of Skora in Morocco during the 1930s. Azo has since become surrounded by speculation. Though it's widely thought he suffered from a type of microcephaly, his origins have become a story of legend. One of the most common is that Azo was an ape-human hybrid. It was first thought that a human had mated with a species of ape, which then resulted in the creation of Azo. His characteristics resembled that of an ape and not of a human, with a clear mental deformity. He lived in a cave, fed on dates, berries, and other dead animals, and used primitive tools while communicating via grunts, rather than any known human language. His forehead was sunken, and his arms were long, almost down to his knees. In 1956, the French writer Jean Boulet, alongside ethnologist Marcel Gomez, went to study the case of the Moroccan ape man. While they studied him, Azo unfortunately died at 60 years of age, but his alleged sisters, Hissa and Hakaya, lived on. Scientists concluded that the 3 siblings suffered from a case of microcephaly, but their cases are still widely speculated. The disappearance of Rosalind Balingal. Rosalind Balingal was born in 1948 in northern Rhodesia to British parents, but her family moved to live in South Africa, living for a short time in Johannesburg. By 1968, Rosalind was studying speech and drama at the University of Cape Town. In August 1969, she was staying with 2 friends in Nisa Forest, when she walked off and never returned. She was known to be a hippie and allegedly the high priestess in a group that referred to themselves as the Cosmic Butterfly. Her disappearance sparked a 2-week-long search, which proved to be fruitless, although it did bring up some other interesting information. There was an unidentified body discovered in the search, police files went missing, and there have since been some unconfirmed sightings of Rosalind around the place where she used to live, in the Devotterkant area of Cape Town. Albert Grundling of the Department of History at Stellenbosch University said the following: "She was a marginal figure on the fringes of society. Yet, as an observer, she also provided a lens through which wider developments could be observed." Albert became aware of Rosalind's story after a guide had mentioned her to him and his wife while touring the Nisa Forest. He then saw a picture of her from the Scope magazine back at the Barrydale Hotel. This piqued his curiosity, and he began to conduct his own research. He travelled to the local library and began to dig through old documents relating to the case. In the 1980s, the police officially declared Rosalind dead, and the search was called off. One theory is that she may have taken her own life. Grundling's research led him on a path to discover that Rosalind was a striking figure physically, but described as being insecure, depressed, and neurotic, and obsessed with the end of the world. Exactly what happened to Rosalind still remains a mystery, but her case still continues to intrigue researchers to this day. The remarkable journey of Anton Filipa. Anton Filipa is a Canadian man who shocked the world with a journey that ended more than 6,500 miles away from his home. Missing for 5 years, Anton had simply disappeared without a trace from his home in Vancouver back in 2012. But after being away from his home for so long, he was eventually found in the Amazon jungle. Anton managed to trek all the way from Vancouver to the Amazon rainforest with little more than the clothes on his back, making the journey largely barefoot. The former humanitarian worker had worked all over Canada for various organizations, while suffering from suspected schizophrenia, which caused his family great concern when he failed to show up back at his home. After 5 years, the family had given up on hope. This was until they randomly got a call from the Brazilian police force just after Christmas. A Canadian-born Brazilian cop, Helenice Campos, spotted Anton after recognizing him to be a foreigner. She originally thought he was a beggar. She saw Anton walking down a dirt track in bare feet, unwashed and unshaven, wearing Bermuda shorts and a vest. He was carrying no passport or any other form of identification. The police officer was eager to find out who the man was. With the help of several international agencies and embassies, she was able to track down his family back in Canada, who agreed to fly to Brazil to be reunited with Anton. His family were stunned. Though they had given up all hope in finding Anton, 5 years later they found him at the end of his incredible journey. Anton, who has since been put back on his schizophrenia medication, had managed to travel through at least 10 different countries from his home in Canada, including the United States, Mexico, Guatemala, Costa Rica, Panama, Colombia, Venezuela, Argentina, and finally Brazil. He managed to travel through all these countries with no passport and with little more than the clothes on his back. Anton's brother said he had traveled all that way for one purpose: to visit the National Library of Buenos Aires in Argentina. After he had made it all that way to the library, he was denied entry because he had no identification. This is when he decided to travel to Brazil instead. Anton later described how he managed to survive. He said he had picked fruit and other berries along the way, scavenging through bins to try and find clothes and other food. He also said that he was robbed of the very little things he did have, and this happened numerous times while he was on his colossal trek. Yet, while he ran into some bad people on his amazing journey, he also said he received more generosity, especially in recent times. "I've never felt alone," he said. "It's been a lot of thinking for years. Sleeping in the open. It's very simple to live. We do not need many things." While he was trekking the Amazon, he had managed to avoid all kinds of dangerous animals, including highly venomous spiders and snakes, as well as jaguars and caiman. After spending 5 years on the road, however, once Anton had been transferred to a Brazilian mental institute to await his family's arrival, his brother claimed that Anton's health began to deteriorate. He had spent years surviving off the streets and nature, and found it hard to adapt to life indoors. His family arrived, and Anton began to regain his health after seeing his family once again. His brother said, "We got him just in time." Anton went on to tell the BBC, "I know that I am very lucky to be alive. I am very happy to be able to return to my family." Despite having spent so long in South America, he still can't speak any Portuguese or Spanish, and found it very difficult to have any other human interaction during his time on the road. He would sometimes catch a ride as a stowaway on a truck whenever he could, but still travelled most of his journey on foot. Now Anton has since returned to Canada to live with his brother, sister-in-law and their children in downtown Toronto. His story is one of hardship and inspiration. But what do you make of these interesting stories? Be sure to leave your questions and answers in the comment section below and help us to grow this community while working to solve these unexplained mysteries. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos.